Okay, this is my computer in the office here. It has a 2.5 gigabit network drive on a 1 gig server system. I'm going to go to fast.com, which is Netflix's server. Oop. Okay, let's try that again. This is Netflix's server. So it's probably one of the best results you're going to get. It's almost 4 o'clock on a Saturday. This is my Starlink speed. That's a download speed. This right here will be my upload speed. Now I install fiber optic to the homes for a local, and we offer 1,000 by 1,000. So for me, this is pretty dang slow. But before I had DSL at 12 by 1, and I got bonded DSL at 24 by 2. So this is actually pretty dang good. Anyway, this is Northwest United States, and I'm getting 70 by 11. 70 down, 11 up on Starlink, and I have the first generation of Starlink. I've been running it for about 2 years. It seems to be just fine for out in the boonies. Thanks. Hey, today's video I'm going to show you guys our Starlink install. I originally had this mounted down there by that power thing, but this tree and a little bit of that tree was blocking our view. So I brought it up here, and I had an old satellite mounting bracket that I used. Basically, we just drilled the old satellite mount, put some self tappers in there to mount that on there. And then the Cat 5 cable that comes with the dishy does not come out of the dishy. It's a pigtail. At least that's the first version of it. I just ran that down the roof. Yeah, do another video on killing some moss, obviously, on the roof. Anyway, I ran that line down the roof and down into our junction room. So on these satellites, on this dishy, all you gotta do is mount it, get it close to being plumb, I guess. But it automatically adjusts and does what it's supposed to do all on its own. So that's kind of cool. So the setup of these is simple. So I'm gonna take you down. I'll show you the mechanical room. Well, the other thing on these is it comes with a Starlink router, and the router is pretty good, but it does not allow you to port forward or anything through it. It has Wi-Fi out and it has one output for the a network, basically into a LAN, but you cannot port forward it. But the good thing about it is you can just plug in any router and it will automatically work. So you do not have to have the Starlink router to make it work. You might want to have it plugged in while you're doing the first original setup, so it does all the firmware updates and anything it might need to do. But anyway, I'll take you downstairs. All right, guys, I'm down in the garage now where all my networking, and excuse the cluster. Got a lot of networking here. I got a home automation system and sound systems and everything else going through the network. So this large spool of Cat 5, which comes from Starlink, comes in, goes into this power over Ethernet, and so this is what charges the dishy. This regular 110 outlet, and it plugs in there. And then normally on this, where the yellow one's plugged in, right here, normally that would go right to there into this little router modem thing that Starlink sends you. And if you notice, it has on the back of it, like I said, this is the first generation. You have auxiliary out and then the input. And that PoE switch actually powers this also, plus the dishy. But you can just plug, and I just have a Cat 6 going into my stereo cabinet where a bunch of equipment is, and that's where my router is. And I think it's a, shoot, I don't remember what it is. Maybe it might be, I don't, D-Link or whatever it is. But it's just standard. You just plug it in and you're away you go. Anyway, that's this end of it. Oh, actually, that's all of it. It just works. Our speeds are not quite what I was hoping they'd be. During the middle of the night, we might get 150 meg down by 15 up. But during the day, our network is maybe 60 to 70 meg down by 7 meg up, and that's because everybody else is on it then. We live in the Northwest, and the Northwest shares service. So basically, Starlink has the satellites up in the air, but they have base stations that pump the signal up to the satellites. Well, our base station's in Seattle, and actually, I think there's another one in Alaska where it pumps the signal up for our area. So the biggest con with that is we have Fubo TV, and the Fubo TV sometimes thinks that I'm in Seattle or Alaska, so I don't get my locals like I'm supposed to. So then I have to call Fubo up and say, hey, can you guys reset this for me, please? And they do. But anyway, that's, I guess, the biggest con of this is when you go to search up on Google, you're not always you're not always at home. You might be in Seattle or wherever. And then Fubo and anything like that, where they check your IP to see where you are. Anyway, guys, that's the Starlink system. Said the antenna, the dishy works great. This is the first generation, so I imagine the new ones are even better. Like I say, it's just right up there on the peak of the house. Like I say, I have a really clear view, except for this tree, the cedar tree. Maybe the tip of that one and the tips of these. But I got a really clear view. So it's not so much to do with the clear view as just how many people are on it for the speed. Obviously the clear view does have a lot to do with it, sorry. But having a clear view does not make the speed go up, I guess is what I'll say. But it gives you less interruption, having the clear view. And like I said, we have a really clear view. Anyway, guys, have a good one.